We are live for another podcast episode here with Griff, Pippin, ladies and gentlemen.
Woo!
Always bringing the energy to the table. Griff is a part of Country Club Adjacent, who's a big channel on YouTube in golf, and he's a comedian himself and pretty decent golfer, I would say. Would you agree with that?
No, you don't have to lie to your listeners. You don't have to do that. I just want everyone to know you're lying, and it's not true. No, you did help me though. I was a train wreck when we played in Florida, and I could not figure out how to get my game back on track. You know, when you have those days, you're like, I can't get this train back on the track, and you helped me. I
I
don't know
appreciate.
told me, but you did get me back on track when I was hopeless. And I was like, this guy is good. This guy understands the mental side of the game in a way that even a decent mental golfer doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, dude, it's been a long time for me, in the game, and I've learned so much about what it can do to you as a person. And I honestly, for me, I don't know if for you, you get the same way, but you could tell a lot about a person by the way they play golf, regardless of their skill level.
Yeah.
Like regardless of whether or not you're a great golfer or a bad golfer, it's like how you compose yourself through the round, how you manage golf as a whole. It tells something about what's going on inside of your head. So I mean that round we played was pretty fun over at Doral during the live tournament. But dude, how did you even get into golf, bro?
Uh, I was maybe 13. I was playing a sport called squash, which you probably never even heard of. It's like a racket sport for douchebags. Um, and I just I was really good, but I was only doing it because my dad wanted me to do it. And one day I was 13, I got up the courage and I was like, I'm gonna be independent. I'm gonna tell my dad I don't want to do this anymore, right? Like he's not gonna control me. And then I said I quit like on a Saturday morning, and then he didn't miss a beat. He was like, okay, well, let's get you into golf. So he just took me from one sport to the other. So then I think it was like summertime around then, like every summer. I did nothing to do over the summer, so my parents just dropped me off at this course all day, and that's all I did. Hang out with other hooligans and degenerate kids and learn how to make people laugh and hit a golf ball. So that was like, those summers were probably the best summers of my life. And then life just went downhill from there.
Where did you grow up at?
Oklahoma City.
Oh wow, nice. Interesting. So when you were growing up and playing, like, were you always kind of the funny guy in the group, like, messing around or?
Yeah, there was like a little band of degenerate kids, and I was like leading them around and cracking jokes and always getting in trouble. Imagine like a kid version of Rodney Dangerfield in Caddyshack. Um, yeah, and I was just always out there. I was never up to anything good, but I did love the game, so I wanted to get better. But I was just out there like I by nature I don't want to take anything seriously.
Yeah.
Not one thing in any part of life. If I could have my way, but that's not how adulthood works. But when I was 13, 14, 15, that's all I did. I showed up to a golf course and took nothing seriously, but trying to get better at golf. And so I just always cracking jokes and just playing golf. And that's it. And then somehow did not know that would lead to a career 20 plus years later. No clue that I was literally
Yeah.
training myself like I was at, Juilliard's to be a comedic golfer. No clue that was going to happen.
And we'll get into that a lot more as we go on. But dude, one of the things that obviously really stands out, what you just said, is that you don't give a fuck about what's going on, and like that really
Well,
brings the
that's
best
not
out of you. It
true.
brings your
Well,
authentic self.
I don't want to take anything seriously, but uh I can't, well, especially now, obviously you have to give a fuck. I don't want to, but I have to give a, that's the problem in life. You have to give a fuck.
Yeah.
That's the
No,
problem.
it's true. I
I
guess
want
I did word it
to,
incorrectly. You said it that way. Uh, but like that attitude is honestly like kind of the foundational, thing that you need to have for your mental game in golf. Like you can't take any shot that seriously. you have to care about it. Like if it's the most meaningful shot of your life, but not taking it seriously keeps you going. And that's what I've kind of realized has helped me and has helped, some people I've worked with and stuff. But, it's one thing that stands out with you and how like I can definitely see that regardless of you sucking at golf for a long time, like you're still going to stay in it because you just not taking it seriously and you're out there to just have fun.
Well, yeah, and one thing that helps too, and I think maybe we talked about this, is if you're like me and many, many golfers, you can tell them all day not to take this shot seriously, but that's going to fall on deaf ears. And one thing that helps me at least is if we play in a lot of tournaments and events, and maybe someday events that have legit purses, there's going to be shots where you're like, yeah, this shot matters a lot. And I can't just tell myself it doesn't matter, but what I can do to calm myself is course management. That's so important of going, all right, this is this shot is terrifying, right? Like I feel like I'm taking like the bar exam right now. It's awful. But what helps is course management of going, I'm a human being, I make mistakes. So where can I afford to miss here? And if I do, it's okay. If I do miss there, it's okay. Then you're like, okay, the shot, I can relax. But when
Yeah.
you're like, I can't miss anywhere, like, then you're just putting yourself in a bad headspace. So I don't know. Like, I'm sure you talk about course management a lot, but making that shot easier by being like, it's okay not to be perfect.
Yeah. And honestly, like playing professional golf and playing a lot of tournaments, to me, it's all about stress management. If you're able to reduce the amount of times you like are in a stressful situation throughout a round, like you're gonna feel way better after the round. And it usually has to directly correlated with course management. It's like if you're making decisions that are putting yourself in like just tough spots and you're trying to like push it way too much, you're gonna get burned out through the round. So having a strategy on how you approach the golf course, and we talked about it when we play together. It's literally the low hanging fruit that any golfer can use because regardless of your swing and whatever your state in your game is at, I guarantee you can shave a few strokes just if you learn how to think and make proper decisions out there.
I heard, and look, I'm on here and I'm like not being as funny as I could be because I nerd out about golf stuff. So apologies to anyone that's not laughing as much as they'd like to right now. If you could have that ding noise go off a little more, that'd be great.
Okay.
So I heard someone saying, because I love this podcast, because you guys talk about the mental side. Someone saying, um, Taylor Gooch has a very high golf IQ, and I'm like, I don't know what that means. And you hear people say that so and so's got a high golf IQ. What does that mean? And someone kind of broke it down and said what they meant by that. And amateurs can take away something is, and what makes pros good at what I think separates pros, Corn Ferry guys from tour guys, from Corn Ferry to like mini tours is this. And what I'm learning and what amateurs could really learn from is they're very good at knowing how to use their C game or B game, right? Like, even if you're one of the best golfers in the world, it's very likely you're not going to have your A game that day. But we don't see that. We just think they always have their A game. But the truth is, I think Tiger said he's had his A game all 4 days 3 times in his career. So you see what Tiger did. Majority of that was with B or C game. Bryson won the U.S. Open with his B game. So what it is these guys do is they're like, yeah, I don't have it today. I heard, like Tiger saying in a tournament recently, he was like, I was drawing the ball all week at the range. And then I got up to the first tee shot and I realized I'm cutting the ball today. And that's not in his control. As good as he is, he's like, I guess my body wants to cut the ball today. And so
Yeah.
I don't have what I want today, but this is what I do have. And just letting go of your ego and going, you know what, this is what the chef is serving today. And I'm going to eat it and I'm going to enjoy it. So, like, that's kind of what I'm learning right now is going, all right, well, we can't hit draws today. I don't know why, but that ain't like, we don't have that today. Our body cannot hit a draw. So we're going to play a cut or vice versa. or just like you're doing something that you can't get rid of, just adjusting and going, that's what we have today. And you can actually, like, that's probably going to lower your score more than anything you could do in golf. But we don't want to adjust. We want to go, no, damn it, I was hitting a draw yesterday. I know I'm capable of it. I'm going to play 17 holes until I learn how to hit a draw. And then it's too late. And then you're
Yeah.
just like, man, I suck at golf. This game sucks. And it's like, no, dude, like, you, even the best players in the world, including the GOAT, are like, I don't have what I want today, so I'm going to play what I was given. Shut up and take what you're given that day. It
Eh,
is not
That's
easy to do, but shut up and eat it. Right? The
literally.
chef comes out and he's like, you're eating shepherd's pie today that's 6 days old. And you're like, that, I thought we were eating steaks. I thought we had steaks and truffle potatoes today. And he's like, no, 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 no. That's like once a month that you're getting that meal. And so to go, you know what? I like shepherd's pie. You know what? Actually, I'm going to enjoy that shepherd's pie. There's no dessert. That's fine. That's fine. I'm already fat. I need to lose weight. So,
It's crazy how something as simple as acceptance can really enhance performance, and it's just like people get in their own ways again because of the ego, and
every
there's
golfer,
an underlying thing there where it's a life lesson in general. Like in life, we're all given a gift. You were given the gift of being funny. I was given the gift of swinging a club, and like we accept it, we go with it, and we just stay connected to our process and keep going through it. And something as simple as acceptance can really push the needle on
here's
people.
why I think that's so important to, obviously pros know this, but amateurs need to know this, and they don't really understand this concept. But it's like, you might go to it's important to go to the range that day to figure out like what you're working with. That's what the pros do. Um and it's just like you might play golf once every 6 days. So your body changes throughout those 6 days, and you don't know what you're going to get after 6 days unless you have insane muscle memory and play and hit the range every day, which you're likely not doing. It's like your body's just going to show up a certain way. You might not be as flexible that day, and just take it. Don't fight it. Go with nature and do not fight it. And I swear that will, and that goes with putting too. I'm just like, some days I'm like, man, I'm cutting my putts. Well, just that's it. So it's so that's the simplest thing I've learned. And I'm like, you know what? I've never been a great driver of the ball. I've never been straight off the tee box. So I bought a utility iron. And I'm like, you know what? I'm fired up to hit 250 shots off the tee box. I'm
Yeah,
so fired up to double my fairways hit, dude. That's like maybe me getting older, but I'm like, I am so pumped. And there's
dude,
the opposite of
that's
ego
it.
again. The theme is ego. Ego gets in the way of everything. When you're like, if you let go of your ego, your scorecard's going to look so much sexier. And honestly, that's good for the ego.
Exactly. It's like you're still getting the reward at the end. Just
The,
go through the process. Like
cool,
forget about
bombed
the
a
result.
drive, cool, like you did this or that. No one cares. You shoot a 65, then everyone cares. And the
Yeah.
people shooting 65s, are doing it without their egos. Sure, it comes into play sometimes, but what it's like,
And the
don't.
people that come up and they're like, "Yo, you want to like I want to shoot 65." The first thing you tell them is like, "Stop thinking of trying to shoot
Yeah,
65."
yeah, exactly, dude. Exactly. It's like, oh, I want to date this beautiful woman that like I know that lives in my town. And well, it's like, first off, you need to lose your double chin, and second off, don't shave because it's not a good look, because you look like a piece of shit. So don't think about that beautiful woman when you look like this. Focus on yourself before you can do that.
Is this a live personal
Yeah,
problem right
terrible.
here?
I haven't shaved my beard in 10 years, and then I'm like, dude, this double chin sticking out, and I'm like, dude, I've been catfishing like myself. This is bad. A beard is a catfish for men, and I didn't realize how bad mine had gone. The thing about as a man, as a beard, it's makeup for men, and I did not realize I hadn't shaved my beard in 10 years. So like, you don't realize how much weight you're gaining, and then you shave it off after 10 years of having a beard, and you're like, oh, jeez, buddy,
That's what it looks like.
jeez, yeah, me just sitting
And,
down.
and honestly, that's symbolic because that's the same thing when you do it to someone's golf game. They're like, "Oh no, but it's not that bad. It's not that bad." But let's really dissect it. Let's shave that beard and see what's behind. People are like, "Oh shit," and like a
Oh,
lot of them could feel so discouraged with thinking like, "Wow, like for me to actually get to where I want to get to, I have to do so many things and like get better at so many different parts of the game." And I have a question for you, as an amateur golfer that is immersed in the game and in the process of, like getting better. How do you manage having so many things to kind of get better at and still like feel motivated to play golf?
are you saying in my career or just the game of golf?
Just your game, like your golf game right now, like you got to get better at chipping, putting, driver, all these different parts of the game. I'm curious to see how you approach that.
Yeah,
And you're
it's
like,
simple. It's very simple. It's extremely simple. When you talk to like any pro, and they'll say the same fucking thing. Um, and it is progress over perfection. You obviously have a goal where you want to get as a golfer, but you're not really thinking about that. You're just thinking one day at a time, just getting 1% better. It's a Japanese term called kaizen. It's about getting just better every day, 1% essentially. Um, and that's the thing, and that's the fun thing when you start enjoying getting better at golf and going, I don't need to be perfect, but I do want to get better every day. There's a million parts of your game to get better. So if you're like, man, I can't drive the ball today, I suck with the driver, so that part of my game's not getting better, and that's frustrating. But you know what, I got good hands today, so we can work on getting better at chipping. So it's like, cool, I didn't get better in that area, but I did get better in chipping, so that's 1% better each day. There's a million parts of your game, whether it's chipping, putting, driving, irons. And then there's the mental side of your game. If you just don't have it physically, you can work on the mental side of your game. Like I was saying, going, all right, I don't have anything today. I have my D game. And I'm gonna make that work. And then you end up like breaking 80 with a D game, and you're like, that's progress. That's a huge W.
yeah,
I had my D game today and still broke 80. That's a massive win. And you're like, because I wasn't trying to be perfect. I was trying to take what I have and work with it, and, just learn something. Um, I think it's exciting, of just accepting, screw your ego, whatever I have today, we're going to make the best of it. And that's how you get 1% better every day. And that's exciting. I'm obsessed with golf, and I've been getting a lot better in the last year. I played. I'm not trying to name drop. I'm just saying this guy's awesome. But I played with Anthony Kim, and he helped me so much with my golf game and on a physical thing, and it really helped me. And then I'm always working on the mental side of things. Then someday I might just be working on chipping. So it's like there's a million parts of your game that can grow. So if you get any one of those parts just a tiny bit better, or you learn something, then it's like you walk away with a W, and that feels so good. That
yeah.
feels awesome.
And with golf, it's so hard to actually track that sometimes because it's like, okay, like how do I really know that I got better? Like, yeah, I'm hitting good chip shots here in the chipping green by myself, but as soon as my buddies come around and there's something on the line, I'm gonna choke. So
Yeah.
like, how do you really track that? And to me, based on my experience, what I've seen is like, actually tracking your level of confidence after you leave your practice sessions. You're like, or after even when you play, you're like, do I feel more confident? Like as a person, like after this round of golf, did this round of golf, this medicine actually work in my body, or did it actually hurt me? Because, for example, I mean, for me, golf tournaments in general are either the most healing experiences or the most traumatic
Yeah,
on the golf
dramatic
course.
usually. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. And you know, like you can obviously track data on the course with Decade software, um, and you could probably visually track some of your stuff on the range and everything, and be like, okay, my dispersion rate on my chips is getting closer. My wedge shots are closer and my drives are straighter. You can track that, but like, how do you track your confidence? Um, well, again, I think it goes back to your ego. If you let go of your ego and go, let's take what we have today and work with it. And if you made that work to the best of your ability with having not what you wanted, that feels good. Now, if you just have everything that day and everything's going your way and you shoot great, you shoot an incredible score, you don't really learn a lot from that because it's
Yeah.
just like cool. Like I had it all that day, and I just hit the ball. I just stepped up and hit the ball, and it went where I wanted.
Yeah.
And the flags were in nice places. You don't learn anything from that, and those are nice. That feels good, but what feels good is even better is when you're like, I remember the first two holes, and I was like, oh, this is a mess. But just being like, by the 18th hole, you walk to the parking lot and go, man, we didn't that was a mess up top. And I walk away and I won the match. I won the press. Like we grinded. And it's like it feels good. Someone when life gives you lemons, make
Literally.
bars. Um but yeah, that's
Yeah.
the exciting part of the game. And I think I heard that talk with Taylor Gooch. It's like you have a high golf IQ and learning to work with what you have that day. Um, and that's to me, like dude, I've been playing golf 20 plus years. And to me, it's exciting. Like I don't know how you're just smacking a white ball to hole. Yet there's always things I'm learning every single day. You're,
Yeah.
you're, you're in a lifelong learning process. That's what's exciting. And I'm always like, it's as if I'm just learning golf. And I
Yeah.
feel like I have learned 100 books worth of golf information, and yet there's something new every day. So I don't know. I think the journey of like always wanting to like learn and grow 1% is what makes it fun. If you don't
Yeah.
care about that learning process and growing, then golf can be really frustrating.
Yeah. That's why I emphasize every time for people to stay connected to the process of the game. It's like forget about instant results and all these things. Like there's a whole journey to this that you're going to go on, and you're going to learn more and more about yourself through the game. But I want to give the audience a little bit of context too. Like since you're part of Country Club Adjacent, like you're mentioning Taylor Gooch, you played with Anthony Kim. Like you guys are now like involved in the Live Tour events, doing content inside. Like talk to me about the come up of Country Club Adjacent and how that experience shaped you and how it helped you kind of get to the next level and get involved with the Live Tour and what they're doing and all of that.
Well, we were all stand-up comedians. Look at that double chin, Jesus. We were all stand-up comedians, and COVID hits in 2020, and suddenly we can't do what we love. We can't try to continue to build our careers doing stand-up. And Jake had started making golf content, and a company reaches out to him and was like, "Hey, do you want to go on an RV tour and make content for our company?" And grab three other comedians. He's like, "Sure." So he calls the other three of us, Blake Weber and Mark Smalls and myself, and we had nothing going on. Our dreams were shut down. We couldn't perform. And no expectations. Went on this RV trip and immediately like, oh, we kind of have chemistry. Let's maybe go back to LA where we're based. And this company was like, we'll pay for you guys to do like 5 podcasts just to see. And we did 5, and there was chemistry there. And we're like, let's start the Instagram page and see. No expectations. And shortly after, we started doing the back off challenge where we roast people on a tee box, and that just kind of popped off, and we did a million of those until we kind of grew and got a name to ourselves after however many months. And then Liv came to America for the first time at Pumpkin Ridge in Portland, and we'd had enough momentum to reach out to somebody, and they were very nice and gave us press passes, and we were like, you sure? And of course, we went to the press conferences, and I asked DJ, could you tell me why my father's love is conditional? And he was not equipped to answer that question because it was such a curveball. And ever since, obviously, we supported Liv from the first tournament they had in U.S. soil, and they've always been amazing in just kind of giving us carte blanche to do our thing, dude. They haven't really held us back, and they let us be us, because they understand It's about kind of pushing back against the industry, going against the grain, and you know, changing how the golf industry works and is viewed. And I know there's plenty of people that don't like live and don't agree with it, and that's fine. But people don't like change, and live represents change, and so do we. So it was a really good fit, and they've been awesome to us, and we've really enjoyed our time and getting to make content and play in pro-ams with playing in pro-ams with pros and guys is it's a lot of fun. Like we played with so many guys, whether it's Tyrrell Hatton, or we played with Pat Reed. I was just totally trashing him, a total trash talk to Pat Reed,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
like, oh, do you how many green jackets do you have? And I'm like, okay, but like from some of these players in the programs, I'll get like a 2-hour lesson.
Yeah.
And you hear a pro and they break shit down and they're like, oh, Jesus, dude. And you realize how little you really know. But to me, that's the exciting thing. Like, I want to play this game for the next 40 years, 50 years, and I'll be learning the rest of my life. Like, I just played a course in Colorado, hour outside of Denver. And I don't care how much golf you've played, unless you're from that area, you would not know how to putt on those greens.
Yeah.
A putt, you're for sure it
You're
breaks
gonna
left.
get something different everywhere. Yeah.
You're positive a putt is downhill, but it's uphill. These mountain courses, it was diabolical. And I wanted to scream. And I'm like, I've been playing golf for so long, and this is a completely new experience. And I wanted to snap my putter every other hole. So that's the exciting thing. Like, golf's always,
Yeah.
there's always a
And dude,
new thing.
you mentioned a couple of things there that I want to highlight. Like, you had no expectations and you did it a million times. Like, that right there is kind of the recipe for success in really anything that you do. I feel like, especially in golf, we set such high expectations for ourselves when we go up to play a round of golf that it stalls us. It really freezes us from actually performing the way we should perform. Um, and doing it a million times, like repeating, the same thing, going with what works, and like just repeating it, putting in the time has helped you succeed in your career. And it's truly been inspiring as a creator like myself to see what's possible. Like, so cool these guys have been able to make it to that stage, like doing what they love to do. And it's opened my eyes to what's possible in not just the industry, but just in life in general. If you're just yourself and you have no expectations, and do it a million times, like, that's kind of the recipe.
Yeah, and that's the problem. We go in and it's like, dude, you're an amateur. Why are you going there with expectations? Go in there and go, I don't know what to expect, because the truth is you're going to have your A game 1 out of 10 rounds. I don't know. And the statistics will tell you you're going to have your B or C game most likely. And so don't expect to go shoot something amazing when you're probably not going to have your A game. Go, all right, let's figure out what we've got and work and make the best of that. And that's the best you can do. And sometimes you have your B game and you can maybe career because
Yeah.
you outsmarted yourself that day. And I think that's kind of what's exciting about it. Just being like, I'm playing a match against myself. This is a chess match against myself today.
Yeah.
And going, I'm relaxed because I know I don't have superstar golf today in me. But I have my B game, and you can make your B game, dude. You can fire off a bunch of birdies with a B game, and that's the exciting thing. When you get a birdie with a B or C game, that's fun. When you have your A game, the ball just goes where you want, and it's to some degree, and that's boring. But when you're like, man, I just hit a terrible drive and made a birdie, like that's fun.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I got a question for you now. What are some of the things that you are looking forward to in your golf career, and like looking forward to in the golf industry as a whole?
Um,
Any fun rounds and places you want
Yeah,
to be playing?
I like the idea of these big creator tournaments, and ideally, as someone, I'm the one in the group that loves golf the most and takes it, the most seriously, and is getting better because I'm putting the work in. So some of these big tournaments, that have galleries to me is like, that's exciting if that happens. But yeah, just growing and getting people to see golf and the industry in a new way, and actually growing the game. The amount of people we've gotten into golf because they've seen our content because it's just comedic and it's out there is really exciting. Like we've gotten thousands of people that never cared about golf but saw it in a new fun light and wanted to play, and that's the exciting thing. And then right under that video you'll see someone that says shrink the game, which is ironic. It's like we're literally getting people into golf and you're telling us we're shrinking the game. That's okay. That's fun. So yeah, I it's exciting, just expanding the golf industry from what we knew it as 5, 6, 10 years ago, and being like, no, there's comedy in there. For some people there's fitness is a big part of the golf industry. There's fitness content creators, being like, this game is, there's a lot going on. And of course with you guys, the mental side of it, like cool younger guys getting into the mental side like you guys, not just
Yeah,
not just Bob Rotel
hotel.
yeah, Rotella, like, and he's good, but like he's not gonna make someone younger like want to listen.
Yeah,
So yeah, so it's cool seeing all these new sides of the industry because there's opportunity now that there wasn't before, that you can kind of find your lane and get really good at that and grow the golf industry and be an asset. And from when we started to now, there's all these new lanes, and there's experts in each area that you can kind of go to work on your game, and that's exciting.
yeah, man, 100%. Yeah, for me, like, you know, growing up, always involved in the game, I always had the aspiration to be on the PGA Tour. And, I played junior golf, collegiate golf for just a year and then, dropped out and turned pro. And then, I started, doing content because I was like, okay, like I got to get out there to get sponsored to play and all that. And I realized, like, as I was doing content just to kind of start building like a platform, how much opportunity was like opening up for these other people that were like creating content as well. And it inspired me to be like, oh, I want to go down that route. And I realized something in my journey where it was like, what I really wanted to do is, I want to leave a legacy and for the game. At the end of the day, I want to, appear for a short time and leave, where they don't forget. And the way for me to do it, I mean, at least nowadays, is like, and everybody, not everyone, but on the professional level, winning tournaments is like, it's cool, but it's not going to leave you a legacy for the game. It's, the legacy to me is measured on how well you're able to grow the game and, leave your mark in society through the game of golf. And that's what's kind of like ventured me more towards the content, the coaching, and like, being a part of these like creator like tournaments and stuff is something like now I'm kind of like looking forward to, and I never thought I would be. But it's a massive opportunity, man.
Yeah, and again, even sometimes in your career, be like, I don't have the game I want in my career, so I'm gonna work with, and that means going to content. Like Bryson's realizing like he's not gonna be able to make it as a golfer, so he's becoming a content creator. So that was great that Bryson was smart enough to realize he's a YouTube golfer and he's just not gonna cut it as a real golfer. So no. Um that's the
Dude,
and
some
here's
people
the
just
thing you'll
don't
find.
understand it, man.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, you'll find so many golfers that have attempted to go pro and end up being content creators, and they'll make a much bigger impact in their life and those around them that way, anyways. And they'll feel so much more fulfillment this way. And also, in the golf content creation space, we need more sticks to come in and teach us stuff. Like, I'm not going to teach you that much about golf, but you're going to be able to teach someone a lot more. So we need more people like you coming in that have that competitive background to help us and bring that in there. So I think, it's exciting. And just like in the game of golf, you're trying to get 1% better every day. You're trying to get 1% better as a content creator.
Yeah. And that to me, I mean, I'm learning that process little by little every day. I'm more new to it. But to me, kind of what I've realized that's helped me be a little bit better and better every day as a creator is change and not being afraid to try different things. Like obviously sticking with what you know works, but like always being open to change. How has that like helped you? And what kind of helps you get 1% better as a creator?
So it's so important as a content creator not to be thinking inside a box and to be rigid with your thinking. You can learn this from everything from creative podcasts to Rick Rubin, The Creative Act. It's a great book. And they'll tell you the same thing. Being a creative or an artist is not filtering yourself and just allowing your ideas to flow. Like I've started a new golf series and I just thought it had to be a certain way. And the other guys were like, you're making this too limited, broaden it, what you're doing, being open minded to doing the series that way. And that just opened a whole new world for a new content creation series. So instead of being like, no, it has to be this way, this is what I envisioned. And or for instance, you create a project and it's your precious baby. Well, sometimes your baby's not, sometimes you're gonna have an ugly baby, and it's okay. And not holding on to that, just being like, this didn't work. So just keeping an open mind to just showing up to work every day. There's a great book which I think everyone should recommend, especially if you're a content creator, um, called Going Pro by Stephen Pressfield. He wrote another book called The Art of War. um Sorry, the War of Art. um and it's just about showing up every day. You may not, and he talks about the same thing in his book Going Pro, like you may not have creativity that day and might not feel like showing up to work, but just show up. Just show up.
Yeah. And it's crazy the amount of discipline you have to have as a creator, man. People, I mean, they might understand, but like as a golfer from a golfer background, like you got to grind in the game, but as a creator in the golf space, that's like grinding in golf and grinding as a creator. It's a mouthful. It's a lot of things. But you learn to kind of embrace the journey. But to me, I've kind of like struggled to find the balance of being relatable and authentic. Because like you want to be relatable to people, but like without losing your authenticity. So how much of that do you kind of put into your work? Because I mean, you got to have the element where you're researching about what's happening in the industry and like what's relatable right now that people are like or don't like, and then you still sprinkle it in with your own
I'm a
sauce.
little bit of an outlier with the content I do. It's a little extreme, but for instance, I just had a prosthetics team put 4 hours of makeup on me to look like a 90-year-old man, to go to a golf course and fuck with people and tell grown old men to tuck their shirts in and take their hats off indoors, and to just really personify how absurd it is to tell other grown men to take their hat off and tuck their shirt in. Shut up, dude. Like, don't tell other men that. If you don't, sometimes people don't tuck their shirts in and they don't wear hats, and that's okay. So I, as a 90-year-old man, just like made a video to really kind of personify how absurd that scene looks. So like, it's something that people like, oh yeah, about that, like people being stuffy. So I decided to turn that into a whole character. And just authentically, for me at least, I love being in character. Whether it's an old man, whether it's dressing in a skirt with Caitlyn Jenner, whether it's pretending to be an Australian that teaches you how to cheat in golf, it's just authentically who I am. And these are all videos and ideas and things that people can be like, yes, I know about that. Like, and it's all rooted in something that you have experienced. So that's how to make it relatable. And but I think you got to ask yourself, as an entrepreneur and a content creator too, there's a million of us trying to make a living. Why the fuck should I watch your content? What's unique about it? Give
Yeah.
it. There's a great book everyone should read, I think, called The Purple Cow. Fantastic book. That's all I'll say. But why should I watch your content? And you could probably give me a run of the mill answer. Well, because we provide information, we do this, we help that, and blah blah blah. But I'm like, why are you any? Are you providing something in content that no one else is doing? Nobody else is doing. And you have to answer that question honestly with yourself. Is there anybody else you might be like, there's other people doing kind of similar thing, or they're in our lane? You know, for us at Country Club Jason, I can genuinely say nobody's doing what we're doing. Nobody's able to do what we're doing because we've developed some very strong skill sets with the back offs, the chirp galleries, you know, some of the stuff that we're doing, we got coming out, you know. So you got to be able to provide something that nobody else is doing and nobody else is able
And
to.
have you realized that, you create content where you kind of go on the extreme level. Like the more extreme that you get, like the more you really differentiate yourself. And would you kind of like suggest content creators to kind of be more like brave or courageous in their content?
Yeah, and not doing it for the sake of doing it. But that's just who we are. We're authentically against the grain, and we're out there, and we don't care what the golf industry thinks. Um, you know, and we're gonna do some wild stuff. And in an industry where everyone's super corporate and buttoned up, and everyone gets in line and follows the rule, like big time, and there's a massive opportunity to stand out, you know. And obviously with what we've done and some of the content we've created, you know, it's extreme, and we've had a lot of pushback, but it's not going to stop us. You know, it's not like we're being bad dudes. We're doing stuff that people don't agree with, and stuff that people say I wouldn't do that, which is fine, which is great, because that means nobody in the entire industry wants to go against the grain, and no one wants to ruffle feathers, so that leaves it wide open for us.
Yeah.
So that makes it so easy for us to stand out. Like, it is so easy for us to stand out because we're not afraid to be authentically ourselves.
That's
Um,
amazing. Yeah.
and if you just want to get in line and play the game, then how are you going to stand out and be any different?
Yeah. Those are the questions we definitely got to be asking ourselves, not just as content, but in life in general. Like just to really kind of be connected to who we really are and what we're really here to share with the world. But Griff, really appreciate you being on the podcast, brother. You could have been anywhere else, but you decided to do it. So you're the
Yeah,
man. I appreciate
bud.
all the insights you shared with the people too on content, your journey, golf. Let's play another round soon, man. We gotta tee it up.
I think later this year, maybe I'll be coming down to Florida. Like, dude, I haven't been to Florida in a long time. I actually like going down there. I'm not gonna lie. And you know, some people don't, but yeah, if we do come down there, absolutely, we got to play.
100%, bro. We'll get dialed in, get connected. All right.
Yes, and you know, I think for everyone listening, like, go out there and have fun in the game of golf, and like, if you want to smoke on the course, cool. If you want to like say cuss words and untuck your shirt, go do it, dude, because this is a game for everyone, not just stuffy pricks. This is everyone's game. So if you feel like you don't belong in this game, or you don't have nice enough clothes, or you have to follow the rules, you don't. You belong in this game like anyone else, and you don't have to tuck your shirt in. Your dad is an idiot, and the guy that works in the pro shop is only telling you to tuck your shirt in because his wife talks down to him every morning when he leaves the house, so it's not even personal. You know what I mean? And if you're bald, you
Facts.
have to take off your hat indoors. It's okay. If you want to hide your hair, that's fine. So yeah, you know, when you meet stuffy people that are rude on the golf course, ask them. Just ask them a simple question like, "Is everything okay?" Because they're probably struggling inside. Um, so you know, just know the game of golf is going to change, and it's going to be a game for everyone. And stuffy pricks um, are slowly dying off, and it's good for everyone.
Yep. We're all in this together, man. We're all grinding for the same goal, just to
just to get rid of our double chin. So
all right. Thanks, Griff. See you guys.
have a good one.